Hi guys, in this video I want to look at substituting formula. We see the word substituting if you watch a football match where they substitute one player from another. Well, this is exactly the same idea, but here we're not replacing football players, but we're replacing letters with numbers. So if we look at this first formula here, we've got A equals B times H. Remember, if two letters are just written next to each other, it means multiply. And we're told as part of the question that B equals 5 and H equals 6. So all I've got to do is just rewrite the formula, but this time instead of writing B, I write 5 times H is 6. 5 times 6 is 30, and that's my answer. Okay, we can find the answer by substituting the two values and working out what A equals. Okay, the only thing you've got to be a little bit careful with if you're doing this in an exam, that you write the answer here very clearly in the space provided. Next one down, here we've got A equals 4 times X plus 5, and we've got to make sure we remember our BIDMAS, we multiply before we add. So if I substitute in here X equals 3, I get A equals 4 times 3 plus 5. And using BIDMAS again, 4 times 3 is 12 plus your 5 is 17. So A equals 17 in question number 2. Question number 3, remember in our language of algebra, this means divide. So here I've got A equals M divided by N, and I'm told that M is 15 and N is 3. So simply all I need to do is 15 divided by 3, which we all know is 5. Okay, so M divided by N, 15 divided by 3 is 5. Very similar to question number 2 is question number 4. So you've got A equals 10 times P, and we know P is 5 from the question here. Take away 4. Again, using BIDMAS, 10 times 5 is 50. Take away 4 is 46. Okay, so they're fairly straightforward ones. All you've got to do is have a look at what formula you're given, make sure you use BIDMAS, substitute in the numbers and work out the answer. Okay, right, slightly more difficult here. You might recognise this formula at the top here from science, V equals U plus AT. Now, this is quite an important point I want to make, and I make this to all my students. If you're in an exam, don't get bogged down and confused with the wording of the question. In maths, we've just got to find the formula you're given. It'll be in the question somewhere. Find the values you've got to substitute in. Again, they'll be in the question somewhere. Substitute the values in and work out the answers. Don't get bogged down with trying to understand what the formula means. Just understand what mathematical operations, add, subtract, multiply, divide, there are there, and more importantly, the order we've got to do them in. So remember your BIDMAS. Okay, right, so all I've done here is I've written out the formula again, V equals U plus AT. I'm going to substitute the values in, so V equals U, which is 2.6 from my question, plus A, negative 18.3, times T, which is 4.9 from the question there. Okay, now again, let's make sure that we use BIDMAS. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put some brackets around this multiplication bit. I put those in so we know we work that bit out first. And if we do negative 18.3 times 4.9, you get negative 89.67. Okay, and we're doing 2.6 plus negative 89.67. Okay, we work that bit out and we get negative 87.07. Okay, so V equals negative 87.07. Okay, just be a little bit careful that we're using the negative button on our calculator, not the take away button. Okay, right. As always in my videos, there's a couple of questions at the bottom here, so if you'd like to pause the video now, have a go at those questions, and I'll be back in a few seconds with the answers. Okay, so here we go. The first one, if you substitute these values into this formula here, Okay, we end up with the answer of 38. Again, if you're very careful to use BIDMAS. And question number 2, if you substitute these values into this formula here, you end up with the answer 267. Okay, hope this helps. Cheers, guys.